You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. This is such a fun and informative show. I've got a great co-host and she always brings us terrific guests. I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I'm a certified life, career, yoga, and meditation coach. With me today, as I mentioned, is Aminah. Let's bring her out. Hello, Aminah. How are you?
I am terrific. It's California, and guess what the temperature is?
I bet it's beautiful there. It's in the 70s?
75.
Woo!
So you could ask me this in the middle of December. You could ask me this in the middle of August, and I probably would come up with something very close.
So it's always the same, which is beautiful, right?
Yeah. Well, and we have every topography. We have the desert, we have the beach, we have the mountains, we have the, you can basically go to this state and just try it all.
Sounds wonderful. Like to get out there.
Absolutely. And I didn't say this when we were warming up. You look amazing. I love your hairdo and your glasses. You look like you got a lot of good sleep, and I'm so jealous.
This is my third outfit change. We're trying to change for every show today. So, but you're looking well, and you're full of energy, and
it's your fault. You have a great show. You have a great guest, and I look forward to Fridays just hanging with my girlfriend now.
Yes, it's definitely a lot of fun. You always bring us such wonderful guests. Who did you bring us today?
Well, Caterina Rando is going to join us here in a few minutes. And she is, I didn't do a lot of coaches when I opened my business. And I think you understand you should choose wisely, not in volume.
Yes.
So I've already introduced everybody to a couple of them, and they each really specialize. We talked to Sunil last week, and we've got a couple coming up, and each specialized and each stepped into my business needs and world at a certain time. Caterina was one of those, and I met her at a talk we're not all psychics, but we're all in that energy field, and they do workshops and things like that. So I had shown up, and you get up in the morning, you go, oh, another meeting, when you're growing your business, try to put it all together. It's like, man, I just think I'm going to just stay home on this one. And then you got that nagging thing going, no, this one, you should go to this one. And I was like, oh, but it's another coach. I can do it later. And no. So I did go, and she hit where I needed to be. She hit those juices flowing of, yes, I can put it that way, and I can approach my client that way. And she really came from a place of organic, and she is hilarious the way she talks. So we have, oh my gosh, I should have pulled it out. I've gone to enough of her webcasts, and we hold these little signs that we just hand make. And it says bing, bing, bing. Bing, so bing, she'll bing. Have to explain.
Okay.
Bing, bing, bing. It's like clapping, kind of. But it just gets everybody involved. So she's very unique and very supportive. And she's been doing this. She used to do cruises and workshops, and, because you can't just have a workshop in a conference room. She does them on boats.
Nice. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, you'll love her because
bring
she's
her out, though. Let's hear, I'm going to spotlight you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Absolutely. So as you can see with the signs behind me, I am bridging worlds. What does that mean? It's literally, I take the natural world, talk to plants, love the bugs, love the spiders, but I really center on people's pets. I have been a trainer. I have been an owner of almost pretty much every kind of pet. I worked in wildlife, in conservation and education. I worked with tigers, bears, lions, and a place that had medical research animals, chimpanzees, hyenas specifically. I have college education. I am a public speaker. So I enjoy sharing what I do, and my God-given gift from birth, because I do get asked all the time, how did I become a psychic? Well, that is just what I've always heard. And I didn't say anything after a few years. You get older and your siblings go, what? Because I would say things in the first person. Don't do that. He doesn't like it. The lizard, I lived in the desert, and that type of stuff. Or talk to the dogs and cats because I was alone and they were listening. And I just assumed everybody heard it. So I went to regular education. I also worked in a vet clinic as a vet assistant, trained and licensed. So I really wanted my breadth of education to be wide because it's my interest, but also my help. Give you an idea. A client I had yesterday is dealing with a cat that they rescued from a family who no longer wanted it, but they had never had a cat before. So we're talking discipline. We're talking, what do you do with the nails? How do you clip them? Does he need grooming? Does he need to sleep? And I'm going to not only be able to tell you what your animal would prefer you do, because they'll share that with me. We can also talk end of life. Really, really tough choice. I don't think any of us should be deciding who lives and who doesn't, but there is that time where suffering is happening. I've helped with rescues and being rescued. Catch and release is something we are really big in our community. And what that means is we're going to get them neutered and spayed and then put them back out where they are so they don't multiply. Cats and dogs multiply really easy. So trying to be proactive about what everybody is doing and what everybody needs. So I have clients all over the world because I don't need to see a picture. I don't need to be with your pet. I don't need to physically be with you. I am also an empath, so I can hear those feelings. I can feel your distress. And sometimes your animals will share the truth. So be prepared for that. I had a client a few years ago, and we were actually in a live class forum. I used to give classes all the time. And she asked her question. We did some answers, and the whole class got to listen. And as she went back to her seat, I said, well, wait a minute. Why are you in danger? And she said, oh, he told you. Her dog said, no, she's not telling you the whole story. She's in danger. The young man she was living with had said he was going to kill her. So you would have seen every woman in the room. They were ready to walk her home and defend her. And so that was necessary for her animal to share with us so she would do something to protect herself. They're not giving out your deep, dark secrets. They're giving out what's necessary to move you forward in health. Young woman had a dog that was killed, and her foster parents said that the neighbor shot him, and that wasn't true. But she was now 20 years later, and she wanted to know the truth. And so there are hard conversations. There's hard ones when the pet says, "No, I'm ready to go." And I think it's easier on us when we know it's not just an arbitrary choice we're putting on them.
Fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. That's
absolutely. And we encourage everybody to call in. You can talk to our guests. You can call and ask me. You can ask Dr. Jacalyn, how did she get this fabulous show together? So we really encourage. We had a great time last week with people making comments, and we love it. We absolutely love it. So feel free to, ask what you can, and we will accommodate. And once a month, I try to at least once a month just deal with the pet psychic issue, and love to take calls.
Wonderful. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have comments. And so right now what we're going to do is we're going to bring on our guests for today. Yeah. And let me just find your banner. There it is. Okay. Welcome to the show, Caterina Rando. It's nice to have you here with us.
There's my girl.
So happy to be with you.
Absolutely.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah,
so where are you joining us from?
I'm in San Francisco, California.
Nice.
It is a foggy, overcast day, and I'm still very blissing to be with you, regardless of the weather.
That's not weather. I was telling her I said, guess what? I'm in California, and it is. And she's like, warm? Yeah, 75. again.
Yeah, you're an hour.
Yeah, I'm in the San Jose. Yeah. So you get what, 69, 72?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's great.
See?
It's great. We're coming out of winter. I mean, it is spring, but still, when there's that chill in the air, it's just, so we still have that. But I'm in the house most of the time, so it doesn't bother me. I can just look at all the windows and see, oh, it's beautiful out there today. So
you have the ticker tape of the weatherman going by your.
Yes.
So you can talk in real time.
Exactly. So Caterina, Aminah was telling us how you met, and it sounds like you do some interesting workshops in unusual venues. So why don't you start by telling us who you are and what you do?
Sure. Well, what I've been doing these days is teaching women all over the country how to grow, scale their businesses, improve their sales. And I'm all about women being loud and proud about the value they bring through public speaking, through hosting their own workshops, their own events, retreats. And I actually have a center in San Francisco that has been dark for over a year now, called the Thriving Women in Business Center, where I used to host my workshops. And we were just talking about it today. When are we going to open back up? Because one of the things that's really great for growing your business is having a community. Now, of course, we've all been having community virtual this last year. On the ground is good too. We need both.
Makes a lot of sense. So what did you decide in terms of opening up?
I'm kind of taking most of July off to relax a little bit. Yeah. And I'm planning, we have an event in August, the beginning of August, and I'm planning to open back up in August. And we will be live and in person. We will also be doing hybrid, so ladies can Zoom in from all over the country, or anybody that's not ready for live and in person can Zoom in. And we were doing hybrids before the pandemic started, which was great, because when the pandemic started, then we went 100% to Zoom. And that's what I told all my clients to do as well, to do whatever they could virtually. And that has worked really well. Many of them had their best year ever as a result of shifting to Zoom for their service.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel the same way about my situation. So we have someone on Twitch TV saying hello. Hello,
Louise.
How do you say that?
Hello, hello.
Hello, thank you.
Well, everybody does it to my name, so we're really good. Well, and Caterina, I was telling her that, and everybody's listening, that it was one of those workshops in Los Gatos that I don't feel like going today. No, I'm good. I've heard enough coaches. Then that nagging feeling of nope, gotta go to this one. Gotta go to this one.
It was a good day. I had a lot.
It was a really good day.
Cool.
It was a really good day. Yeah, and you got to say your tagline, because I've already prepped everybody. You got this great tagline.
My friend, what's my great tagline?
Bing, bing.
Oh, bing, 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 bing.
I don't have my card.
Okay, let me say bing, bing, bing. Well, the reason for that is because here's the truth. I was giving a talk for a women's leadership conference, and what they sold was energy. These were all ladies that sold energy. And so the idea was, when you're in your office and it's time to make some sales calls and you are dragging a little bit and you don't feel like picking up the phone, you stand up, you stick your chest up, you stick out your arms, and you say, bing, bing, bing. And then and the idea is you're doing an impersonation of a light bulb. And so you cannot be depressed. You won't be depressed when you say bing, bing, bing.
Let's all try it together. Not standing though.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Ding, 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 ding.
It makes you memorable, and it makes the moment memorable. And I happen to had my tablet, which one daughter passed to another daughter, which passed to me, and we couldn't get in and all that. So I was able to type notes with Caterina's talk, and it just felt inclusive. You talked about real things and us being real.
Yeah, and I give the ladies little signs.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. The thing is that business is often so serious, and it's good for us to look for all the ways that we can have fun. And these days with Zoom, I like to put the red heart on the screen. the time. Every time somebody says something, we put a red heart to give them a little love and support. Because one of the things I'm a big proponent of is don't just wear your heart on your sleeve, wear your heart all over your business.
I love that.
Yeah, because we've also often been acculturated to, leave our emotions at the door, or this idea that it's not personal, it's business. Well, the truth is business is super personal.
Absolutely.
And whoever said that was ridiculous, and that we want to bring our whole heart to our clients, our whole heart to our business, and look for all different kinds of ways, big and small, that we can do that. Because that keeps people coming back, right?
Well, absolutely. Because it is personal. Just what I was telling Dr. Jacalyn, the client yesterday, their first cat, they rescued from a family that didn't want it anymore. And you go, you know what you're doing is I'm not going to say, and you would never say this, that's wrong. Don't do that. I would just say, how about if we try something different?
Right.
Because a lot of people, when they haven't got any of their own children and or anybody else's children to practice on, or anybody else's pets to practice on, we just do what we think is appropriate. And this is why the people that come to me and you, Caterina, we have this symbioticness of, they come to us as coaches, because I'm just as much a coach as everybody else. I'm coaching them through the process. And they were disciplining this cat when they did something wrong with, a spank in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking, so there's no lesson in that. And first of all, a cat doesn't think like that. So they're looking at, oh, good, time alone, the people left. Okay. Or something. But right. The answer to the problem, as Caterina's going to tell you, to get that speaking gig, to get the word out to get them to your class, is not to do something that actually shuts the door.
Right.
Metaphorically and physically. On the cat, it was physically. They shut the door and they didn't deal with the problem. So that's what us coaches do, is try to help them with all the ideas we can come up with outside of the box. And that's what I like, Caterina, because like me, you do outside the box.
Absolutely.
So we need to take a commercial break. Sorry. So when we come back, Caterina, we'll hear about your out of the box approach.
Okay. Yes.
We are going to watch 4 clips right now. We're going to hear from Ralph Graves Jr., who's an author. We're going to hear from Concentric about teaching people to come into the church and how you can become a minister. We're going to hear from BCAT, Brand and Cultural Alignment Toolkits, and we're going to hear from Academy Sedan and Limo. Let's take a look. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic. Aminah, there you are, over there. She's over there. There she is.
You're not over there either. You gotta go that way.
Yeah, it's hard.
And
to figure
Caterina gets to go this way.
Yes. I want to say hello to someone on Twitter. I never bother to check Twitter. I don't know why, but hello to Music Equals My BF. It's nice to have you. And over here on Facebook, I want to say hi to William Stade and to Breezy and to Michaela, David, and to Angela. Nice to have you with us. So we're here with Caterina, and she's going to tell us about her out-of-the-box strategy.
Well, I got a lifetime supply, Dr. of strategies. You know, Aminah was talking before the break that people do what they think, you know, they just think, hey, well, let's try this, right? They just think, and oftentimes that comes from what was modeled to us or what we picked up somewhere. And what I really want people to embrace in their business and their lives is looking at what authentically works for you. And this is why I want to encourage everybody to think about, how do you want to be in your business and your life? Because really, there is no separation. Your personal values about love and integrity and kindness, we don't leave those at the door when we go to business. We want to bring those to our business and look at how we can infuse more of that. And one of the big challenges people have in business is selling. And I want to encourage everybody that you don't want to see it as selling, because none of us really want to be salesy, right? No, and none of us want to be sleazy salespeople, right?
Right.
So don't think of it as selling. Think of it as service. And the more we can talk to people to see if we can serve them, the better we're going to see if they're a match, but also the more people we get to serve. Because often, people don't try to sell because they don't want to be salesy. But if you can't sell, you can't serve. And that's important for people to understand. But then people say, okay, well, I don't want to be like a car salesman, or, all those techniques, always be closing, always go for the sale. No, you don't have to be like that. You want to see if there's a match. And this is why I encourage people to build influence before they ask people to buy. And I will share right now the influence equation, because nobody buys from us if we don't have influence. So let's build influence first. And that's the ability to sway or alter people's thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Visibility plus value plus consistency equals influence. Visibility plus value plus consistency. And visibility, that's your social media, that's your emails, your Facebook Live, your media like this. It all counts, because in psychology, there's something called the law of familiarity. And that means the more I see your face, your brand, your logo, your commercial, the more I know you, like you, and trust you, even if I never met you. That's pretty significant.
That is.
And that really makes a difference for people being open to working with us. But then when we come to value, we think about, well, maybe our credentials, maybe our long client list, our education. Yeah, that's fine. But this is where your hard skills are also so important. And that's another huge part of value that you may not think about as business skills. Your kindness, your graciousness, your genuine caring, your empathy, being a good listener. These are all significant business skills that you may not think of. And in fact, you may not only think of them, you may actually have been taught to turn them off or turn them down in business. If you came from a corporate or institutional background where the culture was more like leave your emotions at the door, because that's how many businesses were and still are. And hopefully more and more businesses are moving to a different culture that is socially responsible and value-based. So, my friends, I could talk all day. I don't know.
Well, I know most of this, and I love hearing it, because again, I haven't heard the beginning speech, in a while, and haven't been to a workshop in a few months. So, Dr. Jacalyn, if you have any questions, you get to shoot first.
So I really liked what you said, and I think, having been in the corporate world up until last year when I resigned, like, you are told, leave the emotions home. I remember very well, I was at a pitch for a big piece of business, multi-million-dollar piece of business. It was an event. We wanted to do the event for this client. And at the end, I got all emotional when I finished my pitch, because I so wanted to represent their brand. I really believed in what it was they were doing. And I had tears rolling down my face. And people looked at me like, but I really put my heart, I put my heart and soul in it. And my boss is like, what was with that? That's unprofessional. And I said, well, I was moved to tears because I so want to be part of their branding and representing their branding.
Yeah.
We got the business anyway. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But you said, Dr. Jacalyn, you said anyway. No, I'm going to tell you something. When you got a little bit emotional, that showed your client, your potential client, that you genuinely cared. And it might have been because of that you got the business. And the thing is that historically, business is built on a military model. And it works for military. Hey, don't ask any questions, just follow orders, leave your emotions at the door. Of course, that's appropriate for war situations. But we don't have to do it that way anymore, especially now that there's so many women with their own businesses. And why do women start businesses at twice the rate of men? We start businesses at twice the rate of men because if we're not fulfilled in a corporate or institutional structure, we're like, hey, what am I giving my life over here for? I'm going to do it myself. And women start businesses because they genuinely want to be of service. Right. Women start businesses because they genuinely want to be of service.
Yeah,
I think that's so powerful. And Dr. Jacalyn, with what you were saying, is like, oh, that's why you got it. And the men and it's not anti-men. We are built differently. We're built to do a different job. We're built to do a different post. You get just the three of us. Use that as an example. All women, but we're each going to give the same presentation completely different.
Right.
So, because I'm highly sarcastic. I've got pets coming and going and talking to trees. I got this great picture of me hugging this tree, and I posted it, and everybody's like, the people who know me go, oh yeah, that's her. And it's just weird to people. But if I resonate with that genuine fun of nature, love, and everything, that's what's going to be. Caterina's outside the box viewpoints were exactly what I needed to hear at that exact time. And it was the same thing, Dr. Jacalyn, with you and I. We booked 15 minutes, and I don't remember it being that short.
No.
Because something we both energetically put out, and people need to realize you do put out energy of sad, happy, mad, glad, and all that kind of stuff. So you do try to show up as best you can. But if you were moved to the point of tears, then you were truly in your genuine self. And if they couldn't hear it, then they weren't the right client.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You got the business.
Yeah.
Yay.
You did it right.
And all the guys are going, what?
What's going on with that? Well, I'll share another quick story with you. I had another client. We became friends, actually worked on a project for just over a year. And then her supervisor was the one who was going to sign off on the contract. So when it was that actual day for the signing off of the contract, my boss was there. And so he signed it. And I went up and gave my client a big hug. And she stood there rigid.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Gosh.
And she looked at me like she was, and she said to me later, she said, "You are totally unprofessional. You should never have hugged me." And I said, but I was so overcome by it. But she goes, "It doesn't matter. It makes us look, unprofessional." And I said, "You're right." So I learned a lesson from that too.
But see, that's the culture of that organization. Okay. In my business, Jacalyn, there's a lot of hugging. All the time hugging. Okay. Because now, of course, we have to, we have male, female things to be aware of, and people's personal space. And probably now for a hug, we need to have consent, which is
signed form
by the doctor.
But the truth is that, that's a beautiful thing that you wanted to do that. And this is where women have an opportunity to change the culture of their organizations and other organizations when we start to wear our heart all over our business. And, women are very innovative. They're very solution focused. I've got a client right now. I talked to her a couple of days ago, and she is so blissing in her business because she's helping all the companies she works for go to net zero with their carbon footprint. Wow. And she's kind of doing it. And they didn't even ask her to do it. But she's like, hey, this is what I want to do with my business. Women think very much about not just helping themselves or their families. They tend to think about helping their whole communities. And by the way, the studies show this, that when women earn money, they don't, buy shoes and cars. They invest in their children. They invest in the education and healthcare of their children. They invest in their communities. And their whole communities are uplifted when women are doing well financially, which is why I want women to earn more, better, because we do great things with our money.
That is so true. There's so much more we can talk on about that subject. We do need to take a break. And I just got this hot off the press. Whoa, it's hot. It's from my assistant who looks like me. Okay, so while we're talking business, I thought this would be a great time to play this clip, but I want to tee it up from the actual owners of the business. This is for entrepreneurs and business owners. Do you understand copyright laws? Did you know that it's illegal and a violation of copyright law to play CDs, iPods, Spotify, Pandora, and other streaming services for your yoga classes, workshops, retreats, private sessions, and live events if you don't obtain proper music licensing? So the company we're going to hear from, the clip, it's called Listening to Smile, and they do two things. The first thing they do is they offer frequency-based music that has actual health benefits. And we're going to hear about that in the clip. The other thing they do is they have licensed music. So let's say you're a restaurant, you're a bar, you are a doctor's office, you're anywhere that you're playing music. If you're playing through your personal subscription to any Pandora, Spotify, Apple, you have to have a business license or you potentially could be breaking copyright laws. So let's take a listen to Listening to Smile. We'll be right back.
The music, services, and programs that we offer at Listening to Smile are based off of scientific studies and research, along with our own personal experiences and testimonials from our clients and our affiliates that we work with worldwide. My own personal journey began in around 2010, and I tried to find relief from a chronic illness that I was diagnosed with. And the traditional ways of healing, they tried to fit me in this box, and that didn't work for me for so many reasons. And this led me to a self-discovery that I never expected to be so life-changing. Healing is multifaceted. It requires us to really look at our whole selves and to get really honest about what we see. I started to see movement towards recovery when I started to integrate yoga into my life daily. When I started to incorporate the music into all aspects of my life, including my yoga practice, my healing completely accelerated. And listening to Smile's music helped me to open my consciousness. I was able to open my eyes to new perspectives and make changes that I needed to make in order to recover. The most noticeable difference that I saw right away, like immediately after listening to my first frequency track, was how much my anxiety stopped, completely stopped. There was such a relief. My mind was actually quiet for the first time in so many years. I felt safe. I felt this comfort and this peace immediately. I continued to listen daily, and I found that amazing things were happening inside of me. I felt calmer, I felt happier. I felt like I was in this little bubble of peace. Physically, I started to see the changes happening. I started to see the things happening in my body that needed to happen for me to heal from my illness. I felt empowered, I felt hopeful, and something that I hadn't felt in years. This is why we at Listening to Smile integrate yoga and Listening to Smile music together. We see such a huge benefit from integrating the music into other modalities of healing. It accelerates these modalities, it steps them up to another level because it works on the brainwave states and the neural pathways in the brain. This is something that is not very easy for us to do alone at home, but the Listening to Smile music makes that possible. This is where real change happens. This is where the body and the mind sync up and work towards health of the being as a whole. That is true health. And Listening to Smile frequency music will get you there.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. There she is. She's there. And our guest, Caterina Rando. So I just wanted to mention, one thing I just want to mention that we have an affiliation with Listening to Smile. So if you're on the radio, you can't see the banner going around, but it's Listening to Smile with the word TO, Listening to Smile. Use code RWDJ to get a significant discount. That's Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, RWDJ. Sorry about that. Get back to you, Aminah.
No, I have to fess up to what I was doing because I know I'm on screen and I'm trying to look what it must look like. I was logging into listening to Smile.
Oh, how about that?
So could you play that little discount thing again?
Yes.
Because I know not only myself, I play music at night, when I'm ending the day and just winding down. And, that I would say in the car, but there's no car anymore. I do a lot of walking. But I have family members that really, really, I think would benefit from, it's just that moment to take that tension down and have that zen, and end your day, begin your day, whatever you decide. I love the concept. She did a beautiful job.
That's Dana Cato. She and Ian Morris are the owners. And so Ian makes the music himself, and he drops a new album every month. So again, it's personal use and also in your business. If you have a business and you're playing music, he let me know that there's someone in the Pittsburgh area who has several yoga studios and was fined $150,000 for playing music from a personal account without proper licensing. So there it is, RWDJ listening to Smile. Thanks so much.
There you go.
All right.
So yeah, I love your show. I learn a lot, even in the commercials.
Thank you. Well, we're happy you're here. We always have fun. So, Caterina, question for you. What's it feel like when you're when you're spotlighted and you're sharing your story?
What does it feel like? It feels great. I'm happy. It feels great. I just always like to know how much time you want me to take, because I could go on and on and on for a few days. I got so many super tips.
Let's hear them. We love tips.
Okay, great. Well, it depends on what hot topic we're talking about. Well, let me tell you one thing that I advise my clients, I mentioned earlier, to embrace Zoom as soon as the pandemic hit. Many of them had their best year ever. One of the things that a lot of people don't do is they don't recognize that in business, until you have a sales team, until you have a marketing department, you're it. And what I mean by that is that you want to be more visible. But the thing is that you only have 5 jobs in your business. One of them is visibility, being the speaker, the spokesperson. Another, just speaking, selling. You got to sell unless you got a sales force. And sales is not marketing. Marketing is letting the world know how amazing you are. Sales is inviting people or companies to be your client. Speaking, selling, of course, serving your clients. The fourth one is strategy. And the last one is self-care. Now, you may not think of self-care as a business skill, but the truth is you don't feel like doing much if you're not having vitality, and you certainly don't feel like picking up the phone. You certainly don't feel like being all in. Self-care is an essential part of everyone's professional success. Now, those are 5 things that are not only your job, but you've got to master them. And so the more time business owners spend doing things that are not their job, bookkeeping, web design, graphic design, admin activities, all of those things are taking away from business owners getting masterful at the speaking, the selling, the serving, the strategy, and of course, self-care. You need support in your life, your personal life, so that you can put more attention on your self-care. And what does that look like? That means you're having your groceries delivered. You have an on-the-ground assistant. There's this idea that of the mommy helper, right? Mommy gets a helper to help her with house duties or with lunch or whatever, because mom's busy with the kids. Well, guess what? There needs to be a CEO helper in your life that is supporting you. I like to say on-the-ground assistant, because you probably have a virtual assistant, but you need an on-the-ground assistant. My on-the-ground assistant comes and she's not here full time. She's here 2 days a week. And I am blissing when she's here, because she's helping me not only with getting packages out to our clients, that kind of thing, but she's also helping me with some things that if she wasn't doing them, they wouldn't get done. And that would be calling the handyman and putting the bills on automated situation and all those things that take time. But when you're the CEO, those are not your job. You got 5 jobs. And again, you have to master them. And every time we're doing things that we don't seek to master, that's taking away from those areas that we want to be masterful in. And so what I'd like to invite everybody to do that's listening is to listen, look at those 5 areas: speaking, selling, serving, strategy, and self-care, and ask, hey, where can you use an upgrade? Where could you put more attention? And what are you doing that's taking away from those important things? Now, I will also say, go ahead, but I will also say, if you that when people think of speaking, it's not just public speaking. Your potential clients don't care about your speaking. They care about what's in it for me. And this is why I encourage people to do a monthly Zoom or virtual workshop, so they always have something to invite people to.
So, question I have for you, and I love the fact that there are 5 S's. That's really so. It makes it easy to remember. So, when you think about, let's say you've never put together a virtual workshop, how does one go about that?
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. Thanks for that great question.
Let's hear it.
Because here's the formula. Okay, so the first thing, from a group dynamic perspective, is when you invite people to come and be with you, just like they're coming to your house, you're going to welcome them and you're going to introduce everybody to each other, right? Just like if they're in your living room. Now, of course, you can't do this when you have 100 people on screen, but whenever I have 20 or less people, I have everybody take a few moments to introduce themselves. This is great for you as the workshop leader, because then you know who's in the room. Also, though, again, group dynamics will tell you that people are more engaged in whatever they're doing when their voice has gotten in the room, when they're a part of it. Like I noticed last night, I'm listening to something on Clubhouse. I'm ready to leave. Somebody invites me to speak. Oh, I'm much more engaged now than I was 2 minutes ago. That's very important. Then the other thing is, think about what are those frequently asked questions that your potential clients have. Whatever your business is, how much does it cost? How do we get started? How do you work with your clients? Of course, Aminah is a perfect example. How do you do this? What kinds of questions do people ask you? What kind of results can I expect? You make a list of your top 10 frequently asked questions, and then you start with that. Now, then of course you ask the room if they have any other questions. And at the end, you invite them for the next easiest step. Might be have a conversation with you, might be come to your next workshop, might be sign up for a one-on-one session, whatever it is, because remember that we said earlier, you have to build influence. That's what you're doing in that workshop. But your ask at the end, cannot exceed the amount of influence you've built. So what that means is, if you only spend an hour with people, don't invite them, hey, you want to buy my gold platinum deluxe package, $45,000.
Exactly.
Hey, let's have a conversation, right? So that's important, because sometimes people, they do a good job at the workshop, but their ask is way too big after spending just an hour with people.
That's a brilliant point. I like that. So going back to the workshop idea. Yeah. So let's say someone's never done a workshop. Should they expect to have 1,000 people show up?
Well, okay. No is the short answer.
And God, I hope not.
Right. But here's the thing. You have to have things in place that support you in getting smiles in the squares on the screen. And the way you do that, okay, there are 3 things that are the shortest distance between you and more smiles on the screen, and you and having more clients in your business. 3 things: speaking, networking, and referrals. Now, we love social media. Now, that's usually a little longer. From social media to client takes a little longer. With the workshops, we can gain Insta clients. And that's what I want people to get. But let me say this. When you're doing a workshop, people do what they think they're supposed to do. Hey, let's put it on our website. Hey, let's make an event on Facebook. Hey, let's do an ad. Yes, all those things are fine, but all those things are promotion. What puts smiles on the screen in the squares are personal invitations, because the rest of it is just noise. Oh, I see so-and-so's doing this and so-and-so. Oh, that looks interesting. But they do not evoke a decision. It's information. It does not evoke a decision. But when somebody personally invites you, well, Dr. Jacalyn, I'm sure your mama raised you right. I'm sure most of the people that get invited, their mama raised them right. So they're going to respond. But what do they have to do before they respond? They have to make a decision. And that's why the personal invitation is so powerful for getting smiles on the screen. Now, how do you personally invite? Well, you could do it with a direct message on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. You could do it with a personal email. Could do it with a personal phone call. Go old school, right? Or, of course, a text, but only when you really know the person are you going to text them. And this is not automated because, yeah, automated is fine, but we want to personally invite people to evoke that decision and get them to show up. And that's going to work.
Really powerful points. I'm thinking about all the things I've done wrong.
and this is everybody needs to equate that these are snapshots of all the workshops Caterina gives and all the tips she gives and all the inclusiveness that I know we all feel, and the tea days and I mean TEA and and just all the fun, because she's very sincere, as you can hear that. And then she throws in a bing, bing, bing. And then we all go, oh, okay. And then we laugh a little, and you just take that energy and you go again and you take that deep breath. It's been so refreshing, Caterina, just having your support and your teamwork and going to your things. And this is my give back, people that have really moved me forward. So here's the love. And you and Dr. Jacalyn, we all know you put out good.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We need to take one more break, and I'm going to tee this up. This is myself and my business partner, Al Cini, talking about our presentation platform, which is called A Better You, and we're rolling out A Better You University at the end of May. So we're looking for people, experts like you, the both of you, who want to come and present a 15-minute lesson, and we'll take 10 lessons, put them with quizzes, and put them up on our, give you a playlist, and then give people who want to purchase these lessons the ability to get certified by you. And then they can be part of our reward and recognition program too. So let's take a look at this clip, and we'll be right back. Hello, I'm Dr. Jacalyn. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents A Better You. And here to tell us more is the creator of A Better You, Al Cini. Al, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. It's always a pleasure working with you. And everyone out there, you might be a coach working with individuals professionally or personally, or you might be a consultant working with businesses, or you might be a trusted advisor specializing in an area like finance, let's say, or the law or healthcare. Whatever of those roles you relate to, you all have one thing in common, and that is you're working every day to help people become better versions of themselves, a better you. And Dr. Jacalyn's A Better You program is an opportunity for you to express your expertise in a particular area for 15 minutes in front of an audience of people who are looking for help from people like you.
Yep.
So, Dr. Jacalyn, maybe you can tell everybody how they can learn more about this.
It's so easy. You go to abetteryou.tv and you sign up to book your session. Yeah, nice wig. I was digging it. Welcome back. So, Aminah, we've got about 6 minutes left, and you know Caterina really well, and I've been asking all the questions. So why don't you ask her a question? See if you can take her out of her comfort zone with something.
Well, I could say, what are you wearing from the waist down? But I don't really want to know because it's Zoom world.
Leggings and tennis shoes.
Thanks for having, and you've done this a long time because I've seen you on Zoom since we met face to face, and so you've always got these beautiful backgrounds and that type of stuff. So no funny things. I'll tell you, I've seen some really, really strange things. I bet you too, Dr. Jacalyn, of personal nature.
Yeah, I was on a Zoom last night for a charity that I'm involved with, and this woman was talking, and her husband's like yelling from the background, and all of a sudden he comes and he has no shirt on, and he's like there, hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm like, Okay, very interesting.
This is not good. This is not good. But Caterina, again, my deepest gratitude, and this is how I say it's better than any Christmas present I hope you ever get that out of season. But tell us about anything you have coming up, because you always got a plethora of stuff coming up.
Well, let me tell you the big excitement. I finally got so tired of not having a retreat to look forward to, or a trip or a travel or anything, that I took the leap. And January 31st, 2022, I am leading my next retreat. It's called the Bliss Retreat for Women Leaders on a Mission. It's a 10-day retreat on a cruise ship, round trip San Francisco. We're going to Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, Manzanillo, and it's going to be an opportunity for women to refresh, recharge, reinvigorate, rejuvenate, and look at how they can have more bliss in their business and their life. And of course, they are going to be blissing while we're on the ship. Aminah mentioned we used to have tea parties on Zoom. We have fascinators. We have a jewelry exchange. We wear boas and have boas all over the ship. The ship has some guy that follows us around and picks up all the feathers.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
It's very fun. And that's my big excitement right now, that I've already got 20 ladies coming. We'll have 36 ladies on the ship. They can bring their husbands too, if they want to, or their girlfriend. And that's some big excitement that we have coming up. And then, of course, we always have our Thrive at Sales program that we start every month, which is a 9-week program to support people to sell authentically, to get systems going in their business, to look at what are they doing and not doing that supports sales, so that they can scale their businesses and serve more people and bliss more in their business. And that's what I want for everybody listening, that you're blissing in your life, you're blissing in your business.
I'm all blissed out over here.
She's going to need a nap before the next show. I hope you're a fast napper, because it's like, 30 seconds?
Yes. By the way, Caterina, I'm following you on Clubhouse, and we have we're one follower apart in terms of our number. That's amazing, isn't it?
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yes.
That's
and
really
I
cool.
do host, I have a Thriving Women in Biz Club on Clubhouse. Everyone is please invited to join. And we host events all the time. And Friday nights at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, we host a women's wrap-up, women's wisdom wrap-up. Come and hang out and meet some great gals.
So it's tonight.
That's tonight. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
Everyone's invited.
We'll look for you over there on Clubhouse.
Okay, good.
So, Caterina, for people who are listening on the radio and they can't see your contact information, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, first of all, I love Instagram. I love Clubhouse. I love Facebook. Feel free to reach out to me. I will personally respond. Or you can go to my website, which is CaterinaRando.com, and I'll spell that CaterinaRando.com, and you can find out about our programs. And also CaterinaRando.com/links will take you to many free gifts on geo-targeting, and you get a Bing Bing sign and all kinds of things to support people to thrive in their business.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. I feel there's some kind of collaboration coming in the future.
Yes.
I don't know what it is.
I see it. I see it.
A betteryou.tv.
Just remember me when your professional children start growing. I get to be the namesake.
Absolutely. Always remember where you came from. So
exactly. Us women got to stick together and move everybody forward.
Yes. Caterina, you are a great guest, and we'll look forward to having you back another time or in another show. Go to drjacalyn.com, book your session. We've got 14 shows now. So,
bing, bing.
All right, bing, bing. Bye-bye. See you later. Well, that was fun. She was terrific. So once again, you outdid yourself.
I am so lucky for the people. And you and I know this. You put it out there. You put out that energy. You put out the honesty. You put out the integrity. And that's what you attract.
That's for sure.
It just is. We all have happy, sad, mad, glad days. Just don't let the mad and the sad days take over, because you'll attract more of it. And it's really hard sometimes. For me, it's just go outside and get a deep breath, start over.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we've got to wrap up. I've got another show right after this. So how do people get in touch with you?
Bridging Worlds dot, what am I? US. I was like, nah, I'm not a com. So everything you want to know, my phone number, how I work, what it's like to talk to me, a couple of videos, everything, bridgingworlds.us. I look forward to helping everybody as much as I can.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, my friend and beautiful co-host. It's been a pleasure having you here today. And that's a wrap. Yeah, see you next Friday.
Take care.
Bye-bye. And to everybody who's watching, thank you so much. It's our third show today, and every show keeps getting better and better. So if you missed the first two shows before this one, we had a fabulous guest who is a travel expert, and that was on our fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. You can go over to YouTube and check that out. It's with my co-host, Diane Floyd-Dame. And then we had, I Have a Story to Tell with Philip Westerland. He joined us from Sweden, and he has a circular business model. He's developed a circular sneaker, and the name of his company is Our Choice Fashion. I highly recommend you go check out both of those shows. Coming up at the top of the hour is our show called Stories of Hope, Inspiration, Overcoming Adversity. And we've got the founder of Badass Babes at 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, it's our variety show. And we've got Lori Mendelson, and we've got an anthropologist who's joining us. So we're really excited. We really appreciate all the interaction, and we look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully at the top of the hour, you'll stop back and see us. All right, take care.